Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, Doom Productions. This is a special anniversary episode or video. If you didn't know, which you probably should have, you've been following us for a while, last year we released our biggest feature film ever called Little Black Submarines. We're recording this a year later after the movie's out, or been out for a while. And I don't know, it's feeling like might be good for us to reflect on this.
Yeah, some Little Black Submarines reflections, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing how weird this is. For the last 2 years, you guys have not appeared in videos.
Yeah.
On the channel.
Let me introduce
ourselves. Introduce yourselves to the people. They know me.
I'm Ethan. I've been here for a while, I guess. Just behind the scenes. No, I for Little Black Submarines in particular, I was director of photography.
Mm-hmm.
Producer, visual effects artist.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my main duties, I guess.
Right.
Handful of assistant directing moments, but not many.
Yeah. Zach?
A lot of similar things.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Zach, if you do not know me. I did cinematography and helped out Ethan a lot for Little Black Submarines.
You ran all of our, additional units, too.
Yeah, I except for Costco, that was kind of Phil's thing.
Yeah.
Phil was overhead of the Costco unit.
Specifically Costco.
Yeah. And he did a great job.
Yeah.
That was C unit, C for Costco.
Yes. Anyways, yeah.
But, and then I also played Quentin in the movie as well, which was a very last-minute thing. And
yeah, you jumped in very literally the night before our actor dropped, and we were like, Zach, you're the only person we got.
It worked out.
But yeah.
It worked out really well.
Better than I thought.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, I realized, this is going to be kind of a rambly video, I would imagine, but I don't think we ever truly did a debrief video with the three of us.
No.
Because the BTS was released, our kind of fly-on-the-wall documentary. Then I talked with Andrew on the channel. We did a little interview. And then I did the commentary with Vanessa. But we never, publicly anyways, on the channel, we never chatted and talked about the whole film and experience.
Yeah. We've talked enough on this channel, to be fair. People will probably let's get some new faces on here. So we took a step back.
Yeah.
No, but it was cool getting to hear those perspectives, though, because Andrew had such a unique perspective as being a co-writer for the project. And just your guys' process. That was something that was pretty new for us in terms of having, two writers, especially, a writer that is kind of outside us. There's a witch in the house, it sounds like.
People who watched this back in the day will know that my sister needs to just shut the up sometimes. Sorry, everybody.
But yeah, the woomies.
She'll be gone soon.
Yeah.
In 10 minutes. But yeah.
Are you gonna kill her?
Is that a threat?
No, she's going. She's going.
We got it.
But anyways, I think there's a lot of valuable stuff in the things that you recorded, both in the video with Andrew, which if anyone is interested in screenwriting, that's a great video to watch.
It's
a really good in-depth thing. I actually went back and rewatched it fairly recently.
Oh, nice. I don't remember what we talked about.
And then your commentary with Vanessa, which I also went back and rewatched recently. Not knowing we were going to do this video, I was just feeling a little nostalgic and went and watched those. That's really cool to hear her perspective as an actor. And then also need to hear kind of what you were going through as a director and actor.
Right.
And there's a lot of cool perspectives in those videos, so people should definitely go watch them.
Yeah.
There's a card that might pop up over there if Jordan remembers.
Or in the...
Or down there. Yeah.
But, before we get to that, too, this movie... this is probably the least interesting thing to talk about, but this movie has been kind of notoriously hard to watch because it's been on YouTube, then not on YouTube, and there's been links here and there.
And multiple versions of the movie have been uploaded.
Multiple versions. At this point, if you want to watch Little Black Submarines, I would just click on this video right now that you're watching, because in the description, I'm going to put 3 links. There's going to be the link to the YouTube video, which is the final, director preferred version of the film. And for whatever reason, every couple months, it is on YouTube, and then a couple months later it's blocked,
Yeah.
and then it's like blocked in some places, and then it's public again. It changes very frequently.
Yeah.
So that the link to that on YouTube will be in the description. There'll be a link to a Google Drive file and the internetarchive.org. There's a video I put on there. So there's 3 places you could potentially watch the movie. So if you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, check the description.
The YouTube one being the most fickle. The other 2 are pretty much always available.
Yeah.
Google Drive especially is,
yeah,
I mean, it's ours, so we can do with it what we want.
exactly.
So that's the most reliable way. And then you can also download it from there as a viewer and have that copy. So that helps preserve the movie.
Same thing on Internet Archive. I think Google Drive, I'm not sure about this. I think it caps out, like you can only even if the video's in 4K, it only downloads it in 1080. I want to say that on Internet Archive you can download it in 4K. I'm not positive, but that's just something to be aware of too if you care about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole nother story, which I don't think, honestly, that's the least interesting thing about all this. But
The most interesting thing about it was all the problem solving in the month leading up to release that we had to go through.
Right.
I don't even know if we want to talk about that ahead of talking about the actual experience of making the movie.
Yeah.
So maybe we should start there.
Maybe we could talk about that. I mean, when you guys stand up, or think, what stands out to you when you think back on Little Black Submarines? Because my perspective a year ago is different than what it is even like now. So, like, looking back at the whole...
And your perspective a year ago was very different from immediately wrapping production.
Right. And I have I'll play B-roll, but, like, I have, like, clips from the behind the scenes going. I have parts of the movie going on this TV screen, but...
Yeah.
What stands out to you two?
Well, I feel like I continuously say this in comparison to your various shades of experience on this movie or reflection on this movie, but I think it would be safe to say that this movie was exhausting for you.
Oh yeah.
It was exhausting for all of us to a certain degree, but coming off another movie, I had a blast. This was smooth sailing comparatively, I think, in regards to like production problem solving.
And Zach also has the benefit that man can sleep anywhere.
That's true. You can see that if you watch the documentary.
Of unspeakable things being done to my corpse.
By Ethan and Nate, not anybody else.
Cotton 4K.
But yes, I do sleep everywhere. But yeah, it was just really fun, and it was kind of cool because I didn't have to worry about as much stuff as you did. It was very much just tell us what to do and we'll do it type of thing. But it was very much like when I describe what we do, what like folk filmmaking is, to like people who are like outside of it or aren't necessarily as familiar, I usually describe this production because I feel like it's very quintessential in understanding like how to do things on a low budget. I mean, this was very high budget for us comparatively to some of the other things we've done. But in regards to what you can accomplish through folk filmmaking, but also how we pushed ourselves, like this is probably, I don't really know how to describe, the most we've done for a film, if that makes sense.
It's our biggest movie. Like I've said it a bajillion times by this point, but it's true. Like this is the biggest production we've ever had, from the scope of the narrative and what the effects and everything that was asked of us, the amount of people we had involved, the miles we traveled, the money that was spent. It's huge production. And when I think back at it, I think it really should have been impossible to do. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I look back at what we attempted, and even if it wasn't how I imagined, the fact that we, like, finished it and, like, did some of the things we tried to, it was like, how did we even manage that? Like, it seems crazy.
The math really doesn't add up at a certain point.
Yeah.
No.
It's pretty wild that we were able to put together so many moving pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the way we've always operated is with a very small crew. Like, look at movies like The Bell Rings, for instance, where we never really had more than like 5 people on set. Save like
and me
very
for most of that.
Yeah, very unique times in production where we'd have like a handful more people than that. But those were like extras; they weren't really crew.
Yeah.
The crew was pretty much us 3.
Right. And that was just for one day. That was,
yeah.
Me and Travis showed up for
That's
our
true.
cameos.
It's true.
Shot some stuff with Richard.
And that's, so it really was just you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And that, is one side of the spectrum of what folk filmmaking can be.
Mm-hmm.
And then we flip to this other side where we all of a sudden had like 15 people on set for majority of the shoot, had multiple units running on several days of filming. Just the sheer number of shots and scenes that we had to work through. It's incredible that it didn't fall through like you were saying. And looking back on it, there's so many things that shouldn't have worked out.
Yeah.
And so to have a finished product that's as capable as it is, I think is pretty incredible. And again, like what you're saying, Zach, this is also what I reference when I talk to people about folk filmmaking too, is like, yes, there's that small side of it that's so important, that Joel Haver, like Dan Watts side of it.
Yeah.
And we obviously love that stuff, and we've made our share of that style of work. But as like genre guys who really enjoy like the products of the Hollywood system and the indie film system, and that's where a lot of our inspiration comes from, being able to like pull together a team of people to make such a big thing. It's pretty incredible. Not to pat ourselves on the back here and say like we did this incredible thing, but like the community that was able to surround us helped pull off this thing that should not have been made. Yeah, we just got lucky enough to get to enjoy part of the process.
Well,
take on the suffering.
And lucky that we were able to maintain a certain level of artistry to what we were making as well, because when put in such like a high pressure situation, it can become so easy to just be like, okay, shot list, medium close up, all right, that basic, just fall back on basic stuff. And I mean, that's all credit to you and knowing what your vision was and having unique or fresh ideas of how to execute what you wanted on screen. And being able to keep that. And because it was such like a community vibe, we were able to all bounce ideas off of each other in those more desperate moments. And use each other's skills to the collective advantage.
Well, and I think the advantage of filmmaking, like you're saying, the collective, the Hollywood industry, there's so much ego around leadership that can often get brought in there. I'm not saying blanket statement everyone's this way, but that is just so much more the norm. And I think it's really cool what folk filmmaking has brought together is it's so much more of a community aspect where it really flattens out the hierarchy of what a film set can be, where there's value in what one of your extras ideas is for a scene just as much as the director or the cinematographer or any of the other actors. Like it really is like there's hierarchy and decision making in the creative aspect. Like you, at the end of the day, the buck stops with you, whether or not we do something. But being able to bring in the volume of ideas and actually able to let everyone kind of have ownership, I think that's where folk filmmaking is so valuable and important for the art of filmmaking, because it opens up the space for collaboration in a way that's not really common in the space.
And it's also not like kind of like you're saying. It's never because I've been on some sets where it is like everyone gets a say, but it's not necessarily a positive for the movie. And I'm not saying like sharing ideas isn't a positive, but I mean like in the sense where the director is kind of like doesn't know what they want, or like there's arguing between the cinematographer and the director because they both have a stake in it. I mean.
Nobody has the ability to just say yes or no to ideas.
And I think what specifically us, Doom Productions, what we do pretty well is we have a pretty clear like hierarchy in terms of like if Zach's directing a movie, he like it's his call at the end of the day. Whatever happens in the movie, how or whatever we do, that's his call. But at the same time, he's totally open to our ideas, and we never feel like, oh, Zach doesn't want to hear our idea, or Zach's making me feel bad because of he's on a power trip. But I feel like I hope that other people in LBS felt that too. But like, I feel like it's a pretty good balance of collaboration, but also there being like a kind of hierarchy of like there's a creative vision of sorts. That, and then by the end it's kind of shared by everybody, ideally. But
no, I think everyone, it sounds, from just the conversations I've had with the crew and everyone who's worked on this film, it feels like there's a great amount of pride that everyone takes in Little Black Submarines. Even people who were, like Micah, who were on set for one day, he got to have his moment, and blood and all, like he got to put his stamp on the movie. And then, people like Vanessa and David, who got to bring in like lots of preparation time and make their characters their own too. It's cool that everyone got to have so much stake in the process.
Yeah. I mean, the cast, pretty much the costumes. I mean, I gave them guidelines on the costumes, but like all the costumes, that was all the cast.
Vanessa chose the hoodie.
She chose the short shorts and the hoodie, and well, I think, I've said it before, but I'll say it again too, but like, I remember telling her, it would be cool to wear shorts and a hoodie, but don't wear a hoodie, because it's going to be really hot. And then she shows up in a hoodie and shorts, and I was like, okay, you're going to be hot, but okay.
Yeah.
But then what we weren't like paying attention to is like, oh, it looks like she's pantsless the whole movie.
Didn't realize that until we were in post. But deep into post-production, it's like, oh, well, that's it.
But she's also, in sun-wise, she was pretty smart, because she didn't get, her tan lines weren't very...
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I had like my arms were like dark, and then my torso was pasty. So she was a smart one after all.
Which you can view in Vicious Vacuum when that movie comes
out.
Yeah.
Or it might be in the extended version of Little Black Submarines, that little pool scene.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember.
It's I haven't watched the whole extended.
Yeah.
Me neither. I started it recently.
Well, it's going right now.
Yeah, I'm watching it down there. I'm trying to catch every little moment. There's a vignette that I realized I was working into the movie that doesn't come out as clear in the final version, but mirrors and reflections in two shots, especially in a lot of our wonders. I really tried to get those in so you could see everyone's face and reaction, and I'm like, lost some of those shots, but I was so proud of them. Never a good mirror would pop up.
Yeah, no, there's good. The one that comes to mind is I guess it's Nathan's house or Lorenzo's house at the very beginning, where Dylan he talks to him, and I think it's my face in the mirror.
Yeah, it's your face, and that's reminding me. Then when we go to the house where the treasure chest is hidden, and she's having the heart to heart, and they're sitting on it. Yeah, there's another good mirror in there shot. Too. That one's really good. That one did make it to the final shot, and I'm sure
all that sort of stuff fits really well thematically with what's going on in those scenes. So that was really cool.
I know, and it's like, that the houses just happen to have them. But I love when that stuff works out. But I need to watch the extended edition.
At some point, the three of us and our people who were involved, we got to sit down. We got to watch like The Mentor, Little Black Submarines, Chlorine Kills, and all that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But it's also something I feel like we got to do together.
We got to fly Dan out here for that.
I know. Yeah, we really should.
Dan, if you're watching.
Dan and Joel said that they'd be available in a year.
But there's so much to talk about. I don't even know.
I know.
We've just skimmed. It's the tip of the iceberg. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm just watching now the behind the scenes.
I know.
Looking at camera tests that we never did, or like never ended up using. Because I that's the fisheye lens that I tried to find a way to undistort the fisheye so that it'd be somewhat like rectilinear, so you could use it as an anamorphic. Yeah. Because I was thinking that'd be like our main lens for the shoot. It just
didn't work.
It didn't happen. It wasn't even like it didn't work out. We just felt that the normal lens was better, and I think that was the right choice because we got some good depth of field that way.
Oh yeah.
Because otherwise we've been like everything to infinity in focus.
Yeah.
Which there's a time and a place for that look. In this movie, I like what we got out of it.
Yeah, the visuals turned out pretty dang good, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm always pretty hard on my own movies and I critique them, but like something that I think everybody did incredible work. Like I think the actors all did a great job. You guys on camera did awesome. The car chase scene in particular, like the awesome job on the Photoshop there. Oh wait, we haven't talked at all about that.
Gosh,
there's a car chase scene? When? You can't do that. you can't afford to do a car chase scene in a no-budget film.
I mean, it seems pretty obvious how we did it, but like, Ethan, how did we do, on a technical level, what did we do to get the car chase scene? Because I think I've talked about why and like that sequence.
I'll go back further. In our documentary, Fly on the Wall BTS thing, you'll see some meetings early on in the film, or in that documentary, where we're meeting with a guy who's got nice long hair, and we're meeting at Starbucks. His name is Josh Bailey.
Yeah.
And he was like our visual effects consultant and did some visual effects for the car chase scene.
Mm-hmm.
And we came to him not super early on, but a few months before the shoot.
I want to say May or June or something like that.
Yeah. So a couple months before, because you had stated that you really wanted to do a car chase. And so for a while we had been racking our brain around how we wanted to do it. And there's a movie called Operation Avalanche that we were originally trying to pull inspiration from that movie, because they're also very low budget, and they pulled off a really great car chase scene. And we were like, okay, like we could do this or that and do it for real. But we knew ultimately that we wouldn't be able to achieve the scale we wanted, and it would ultimately look like an indie car chase scene.
Yeah.
Which, has pros and cons just logistically.
My original thinking was, if we find a really long stretch of road, we can have the cars drive on it and just reset and just have them drive over the same stretch of road. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges for that. And I think what we were talking to Josh about was, how possible would it be to get the cars to connect VFX-wise? Like, is that something that we could work out, to have the cars bump into each other? If it's a close-up, like what kind of shots we would use?
Yeah.
And then while thinking about this, I thought about, gee, I've like La Jetée is a movie told all through still photos. What if we shifted into still photography for the car chase scene? Because when it comes to like VFX aren't actually difficult if it's just Photoshop. What's tricky is to get it to move. Because, having Optimus Prime smash a tank and explode, that's not hard if it's just a still image. No. It's hard to make it move. And so then I think at a certain point, where in the meetings, I think I asked you guys, I was like, so between the options of doing this kind of car chase that's kind of like indie style, where we couldn't actually touch and that sort of thing, versus doing still photography car chase, which one sounds more interesting? And you guys were like, I think the still one sounds more interesting. And from that point on, it was just, that's what we're doing.
And I think that decision logistically saved us. Just because of time. The resetting, it would have been at minimum a full day of shooting the car chase alone. But instead we were able to shoot all of our plates in a few hours.
Well, just Vanessa's plates.
Yeah. And then the other guys as well. Cumulatively a few hours.
Yes.
It was spread over like 2 days. Or 3 days technically, so the lead up.
And not even full days again. Like you said, a couple of hours in total.
Yeah.
It'd be like a couple hours here. Vanessa was less than an hour. I want to say like 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
All of Vanessa's VFX elements were done in like 30 minutes.
And it was an absolute Hail Mary of we'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically we knew our shots. You had storyboarded them.
Right.
So we knew what we wanted framing wise. So the lead up is pretty straightforward, like the start of the car chase when we're on location after Lorenzo corners Gloria and Dylan. So that scene is very what you see is what you get.
Right.
And I believe there's footage of us shooting it in the documentary.
Yeah, I think so.
And then from there, that was like block 1 of filming. Block 2 was Vanessa's like super quick thing where we shot all of her stuff in the car in front of Nathan's house. And then from there we shot all of her exteriors at the vineyard nearby, or the orchard, I mean. And then the following day, or maybe a couple days later, we shot all of you guys, so the villains.
Yeah.
Well, that was when we came back up to...
That was
so that was the
second
photography. Yeah. And then we shot all that stuff. So basically, we knew our angles. In an ideal world, we would have set all the cars up next to each other, but we just didn't have the time.
Yeah, that was plan A, but we ran out of time for plan A. So
plan B was just we were going to shoot everything and hope that we could line everything up in post.
Right.
Which was tricky, and there was a lot of stuff that came into that. Like, we had to make and we kind of knew we were going to make a CG environment for the construction site.
And to scan the cars.
We had to scan all the cars, which we didn't do like proper like 3D scanning. Like we didn't use like Polycam or anything like that. We ended up just taking photos of the cars. And then for David's car in particular, his had very distinct sun bleaching on it. So I found a cheap little 3D model of his car on Google Images for like the top down.
Right.
And I recreated it in Photoshop by just like layering the rough paneling on it. And then from there it was just going through scene by scene and just making the shots. And I didn't go entirely in order. You know, there was a lot of like, you know, the harder shots came first for the most part. And then we, you know, ended up taking it in blocks. And on my own, you know, I was able to get through a good chunk of them. But it ended with, we just scheduled like 5 days of photoshopping where I'd come here and I would just set up on your TV and we just go through shot by shot and I would just do it. And we would, that way it just was less having to like communicate specifics of what we needed. Or like having to go like, I send you stuff, you email me back about what needs to change, and the back and forth. We could just do it all live here, which cut down on a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it was the last thing to hit the timeline, I'm pretty sure.
And that's something I knew, because I think I scheduled it out. I think in an ideal world, that Photoshop sequence would have been done like end of 2023.
Yeah.
But like, because of just, it was a whole new process for us, and we kind of were figuring out as we're going along. And it ended up being the last thing on the timeline. I didn't realize how close it would be, but it was over a month before the movie came out. And that for me, that was like perfect, because that gave us time to figure out all the copyright stuff, which was an unexpected thing that came up. Because I'm not a big fan of like, you know, some people, they make movies and then they release them right away. I don't really like to do that. I mean, that's cool if you can do that, but I much prefer to have it done, have it ready to go, have a release strategy in mind, and then release it. Just because if you run into problems like our copyright thing, it kind of gives you time to deal with that. And
do you want to talk about some of what that issue was and how we tried to solve it?
Yeah, that could be helpful.
I mean,
we're kind of going that territory.
It's so neat. This is only going to matter. The moral of the story before is don't use copyrighted music, okay? I know that we've on this channel said use copyrighted music.
It don't
matter. YouTube allows it. Doesn't matter. And to an extent, that's true. However, I personally, and this is also, I do make my own music for the stuff, so it doesn't matter as much. But like, I am never going to use copyrighted stuff ever again, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a pain in the butt and it screwed me over. The problem was, when you select songs to use, what you should do to make sure it's okay to be on YouTube is you upload just a blank video file of all of those songs, you know, just on the video. Upload that to a dummy channel on YouTube. See if it flags it for anything. I would do that for all this. I did that for all the songs that I picked for Little Black Submarines. Uploaded it, cleared it. And I didn't check it for, you know, that was like June or August after we filmed. So then a year later in June, when I go to upload the file, or maybe it was July. I think it was beginning of July, I want to say. It blocks it and it's not allowed. And so then essentially what I had to do was do this tricky process where I had to try to figure out which song was the one getting flagged. And the way I would do that was I would just upload the same exact film, but just with like the end cut off, so it's missing one song, and try to whittle it down from there. I would also try to like just swap songs to see if that changed it. Like if instead of using Elvis, I used like an Elvis cover, or instead of using Black Keys, I used like a different Black Keys song, see if that flagged it. To go through the exact thing of what I did, it was the pain in the ass. It took so long, and it was ridiculous. And ultimately, it just changes. Like, it straight up just changes.
Well, even up to the release, there was changes in YouTube's agreement with the licensing for a lot of Black Keys songs, which to this day we are still dealing with the fallout of. It's a never-ending like bureaucratic thing that is totally like outside of our control as the filmmakers.
Right.
So we're kind of just at the whims of YouTube's legal system and how they deal with copyright. And ultimately, that's made it so that the movie is not as available as we would have preferred.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And it's one of those things, because we had long conversations about this, especially with RC Boys, especially with Dan, while this stuff was fresh. And Alex Clegg, who's super helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Clegg literally was like, I will pay, because he found a service, and he was like, I will pay to have this movie available. I'll pay for all the songs. He looked up, and he was like, this is thousands and thousands of dollars. And I was like, buddy, I'm not expecting you, but that's really kind of you. But like, Alex, he was like, I can't, but he's like, yeah, I would not expect that. But the reason, I mean, at a certain point, part of it was being really tired. At the time, right, you have to remember, I started writing and working on this movie January of 23, I want to say. I mean, the idea was summer of 22, but like January of 23, I'd been with this. By this point, it was like September of 24 of like like this was my life, this movie.
You took off work for this movie.
Yeah, I like, because essentially...
Not like 1 or 2 days. You took off a large chunk of time to make this movie.
Like half a year?
Well, like a year, pretty much, because like... Well, I mean, for different reasons, but like...
But this movie took up majority of that time.
Leading up to filming this, I was like, I need to, for various reasons, I was like, I need to do something drastic. So I have a big fat savings. I'm going to quit my job, make this awesome movie, work on that movie, and then hopefully by year's end find a job in video. Which, spoiler, didn't work out. But, that's a whole nother thing.
But you walked away with a feature film.
But yes, I walked away with a feature film. And so when I, you know the struggles of not having a job or whatever, and setting aside time to do kind of creative stuff. When I had done, like, I submitted, job applications, I sent follow-up emails, I reach out to people. When I had done everything that was within my power to do for finding a job, I would just work on Little Black Submarines in between.
You were a hermit.
Pretty much. I was, like, pretty isolated. I mean, but I also wasn't, because, like, we met Ghoul Capone during that time.
Yeah.
And so I think I scored one of Drew's Nessie's movie, the Headless... not the Headless Horseman.
Head Scientist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thinking of Headless Horseman.
Great short film.
I scored that. I would do, like, other creative things. Like, when creative opportunities came up, I would just say yes, and I would do that. So... Mm-hmm. But yes, I took off a lot of time to work on this movie. And so when I was dealing with all this copyright stuff, remember, it's killing your darlings, right? So at a certain point, I took off, like, I think I'm trying to remember the final step, but I think end of September, I had uploaded a file where there was, like, significant changes to the soundtrack. And I felt that if I kept making changes, like, it would be to the detriment of the film, at least for me. And I was like, it will physically, like, it will kill me if I have to replace, like, Little Black Submarines. Like, that, the whole movie is structured around that song.
Mm-hmm. Or, like, Lonely Boy.
Yeah.
The Kaleo song.
There's certain key sequences that I just couldn't take out, because when I started this, it was supposed to be all music from Danger Mouse and these 3 albums he did, which didn't quite pan out. And then it was like the choice tracks that I picked, I didn't all pan out, so I had to switch some of those around. And so by a certain point, I was like, I can't change this anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I think I finally found a mix that was fine, which eventually was also taken down at some point. But I was like, it just has to live as a Google Drive link. It has to live on Internet Archive, because I just can't. 1, I'm exhausted. 2, it's going to keep hurting the movie. And 3, like, even if I have, like, a movie that's completely silent on YouTube, but with a Google Drive link in the description, I know for a fact the majority of people will see the silent film version, if that makes sense. Like, they're not going to... I know there's movies on YouTube where the directors have in the description a Google Drive link to, like, the actual needle drops. I've personally never watched the Google Drive link because the YouTube version's there, and I just assume, like, that's what it is. And it just makes it a little bit harder. And maybe it's a stupid reason, maybe it's dumb, but just for that reason, like, I'm fine with, like, it living on Drive and Internet Archive. And before I take a sip and, like, because I've been rambling about this for a bit, but, like, my kind of thought process behind any film is, like, I don't care about awards. I don't care about how many people see it. What I care about is that me and my crew are happy with the film. And we make something that we like. And so to me, I don't care if anybody see. I mean, I appreciate the views and everything, but like, it's kind of that like, if a tree falls in the middle of a forest, does it still make a sound? You know, if you make a film and nobody sees it, does it still matter? And to me, it's like, yeah, it still matters even if nobody sees it. And so that's partially why I'm cool with it living on Drive and Internet Archive, even though it's a little more tricky to find. It is still out there for people to see. It's not impossible to find. It's just a little bit trickier. But, you know, that's kind of where I came from all that. But again, the lesson at the end of the day, don't use copyright music. Learn how to score your own movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm never adding copyrighted music in my stuff ever again, because it was just a nightmare.
Yeah. Now, I think there's a healthy thing to learn on needle drops and using that stuff, especially early on in your film career.
Yeah.
But I think we've also hit this stage now where we can kind of execute on those musical ideas without the help of that.
Yeah.
Our movies don't depend on it as much anymore. And it also is nice, again, for just like self-preservation. Like our stuff, like The Bell Rings is entirely your score.
Yeah.
And so that movie is ours to do what we want with it. Wild Boys we use royalty-free music for the most part for that. So again, it's ours and we have full autonomy what happens to that project. And that's just helpful. Yeah. And it's nice knowing that those projects can live on. And aren't gonna have as big of a threat to their future existing online.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tricky thing to balance. And yeah, everyone, it's just one of those things you have to just like journey through and make your own discretion on.
I mean, I would add an extreme version too. I would even say filmmakers don't use temp tracks, because the problem with temp tracks is you fall in love with them, and then whatever the actual track is, it's never as good, or it doesn't live up to your expectations. So even when I'm doing my own score, I never do temp tracks. I just cut it to how I think it's going to be, and then I'll make a track, and then I'll adjust and stuff from there. But I don't use temp tracks, because you will fall in love with the temp track 1,000% of the time. But yeah, that's music. I mean, unless you're like James Gunn, like you're not gonna have. I mean, this is gonna be an issue. Like if you're in Hollywood, this probably isn't gonna be a thing. But the reality is, as a YouTube filmmaker, and something that we've kind of been perpetuating, is like, yeah, it's totally fine and legal, and that's true. But there is. I mean, I remember there was even a time when almost every single folk film got pulled.
Yeah.
From YouTube.
That was in October 24.
You
Because
discovered it, right?
Yeah, Nathan and I were at his house, and we were just we were like wanting to see where the views were on some of the RC Films movies. We were like, wait a second. Half of this is gone.
Right.
And then we started looking into everybody's, and Nathan literally filmed a multiple minute video in his kitchen, sent to like the whole like
he was
Discord
naked, he was
group
drinking.
chat.
No, I'm joking.
That was like, all of Merdul's videos are gone. Alex Clegg is missing this, and this.
They hit the second tower.
Yeah. It's just like, oh gosh. Because everywhere we went, it was like somebody was missing at least something.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh no.
Yeah. It was almost the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it worked out for most of the other films. Just not Little Black Submarines.
No.
Again, it's been on and off. If you check it every couple of weeks, it usually changes, because I pay it whenever I upload something. I'll see if it's blocked or not.
And pretty much every video about Little Black Submarines has those links.
Yes.
So, click on whatever one is there, and you'll find the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a hard lesson, but a good lesson to learn. But I'm definitely excited for not using copyright music ever again. Like at Happy Halloween, the movie we just shot, like that's all original. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this again. I mean, there's needle drops and stuff, but they're like original needle drops and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, I ain't dealing with this ever again.
Yeah. No, it's a nice feeling. I think it's a cool extra thing if you can score your own movie. Like I think it's, again, there's that feeling of ownership and true autonomy. Yeah. And the craft is really nice. Yeah. But I know that's a hard thing. But we actually do have videos on how to use GarageBand. You tried to teach me how to use GarageBand. So yeah. That's a good jumping off point if anyone's interested.
I need to do some sort of like weird master class on GarageBand where it's like how to use GarageBand if you're not a musician and you're a filmmaker, but you want to learn how to make music for your movie.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, it's such a specific niche because it's like, well, on one hand, it's just like, well, just go learn how to make music.
Yeah.
But also, it's a very specific purpose of like, no, I want to specifically make music for my movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be, you're not going to learn a lot of musical jargon and, technical terms and learn music theory necessarily for that. But
Yeah. Isn't like you were saying John Carpenter is a good influence on music?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because John Carpenter scores all his movies. So does Robert Rodriguez for the most part. I mean, there's some that he has. His bigger movies, not so much. But like, I think he scored all of Spy Kids and El Mariachi, those movies. Trying to think of who else. I think Shane Carruth did his score for Upstream Color and Primer, maybe.
Mm.
They exist.
Yeah.
I know, they're out there. I can't think of who else.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like a simplified way to do that music.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you do a great job. I think you've evolved a little, quite a bit, but like there's like that simple, like just finding those bass like melodies and then being able to just like learn how to build them. That can go a long way.
Yeah.
Just keeping it simple.
Yeah.
I think it's really good too. I think it's easy to think you need to overcomplicate your soundtrack.
But yeah, for sure.
I guess that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
We won't get lost in the weeds on that today.
I will say my relationship to like Norah Jones and Black Keys has changed since, because I think I went after the movie, it was all said and done. I was like, it was like purged from my system, and only like within the last couple of months have I like listened to Norah Jones or Black Keys since. Yeah,
we shouldn't have got you that record.
No, I've listened to that, yeah, for sure. But like, it's not like it hasn't changed for the bad, but it was just kind of like that was like all I was listening to.
You need to take a break
for that year or whatever, year
Yeah.
and a half. So it was just crazy, and now it's like Norah Jones has songs blow up on TikTok and stuff, and it's like I'll hear that and be like, "Hey, that's my mom." And not really.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah. Caleb did such a good job with that photo that
I believe it.
Yeah.
well it fooled like everybody we like talked to too, because
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, is that your aunt or something?" I'm like, no.
It's the bell rings car of this movie.
I know. I think it was you guys and Brooke and Nick and Vanessa came over to watch a cut at one point of Little Black Submarines, and my actual mom was here, and Brooke was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Oh, that's my mom," and she's like, "Oh," because she just assumed that the Norah Jones was my actual mom or whatever.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. No, Photoshop, I mean, I don't know how much we've talked about this, but I have big plans for Photoshop with our future projects.
Yeah.
Because I think we unlocked something and tapped into something really interesting on a technical level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world is our oyster, as they say.
Well, it is just like a cool tool. Again, it like lets you bypass that really tricky thing, like you were saying with special effects, where you motion is so hard to do. We had a stint recently of getting better at our VFX, our motion VFX.
Yeah.
But in terms of just like world building, the still world is like really powerful, and again, it's not utilized as much.
No.
In the filmmaking space, even though it should be a part of the language more because it is inherently tied with film.
And I think I think people avoid going big in terms of like the narrative or the spectacle when you're at our level, because it's like, well, I don't have the budget for that, or I'm not going to show that. But I think we're really close to seeing like bigger and bigger stuff. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but Pizza House was pretty big for what it was, and yeah, it looks a little wonky, but give me a break. It was edited in like a day
and shot in like a day.
It wasn't planned out as much. And Happy Halloween gets bigger, sure. And again, that's like not perfect, but it's better than Pizza House, I would say, with the VFX and just like I'm definitely not like me personally, I'm going bigger with the next film. Like the next scripted, planned out kind of feature, I know it's going to be bigger than LBS. But, I'm going to use what we learned on LBS to like not make those mistakes or make it look better or that sort of thing. And we just know how to do it better now.
Mm.
And again, it's like you don't know what you can do until you break the barrier of where you've been.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize how much Little Black Submarines was going to break us.
Everything. I mean, there I am on the BTS line, just lying on the ground, taking a little nap because that's the only time of day I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that day. Oh,
yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah,
very fun.
Yeah,
I've never felt so horrible.
I know. Well, what was funny was like,
what is Nathan doing to that tripod?
Don't ask.
Never mind.
I think what was funny was like explain to people like who didn't live through that, like the experience of LBS of like telling them all the stories, showing them the behind the scenes, and then I think it was my girlfriend was like so like wow, and then I was like, and then you know what I did when I got back into town? She's like, what? I had to go see Barbie with you and your family. And she's like, what? Like that day after all that, I was like, yes, because that's, and it wasn't like a problem, but it was just like, it was just the day that it happened to work for everybody to go see Barbie.
Life goes on.
And life goes on, and it was like, and then I drove home, unpacked really quickly, and then I got in the car, went to theater
with no air conditioning.
I remember that day too. I'd have to find the text. I think I sent something like, I'm going to get a large popcorn. I will not be sharing this popcorn at all. Please warn your family. I think I sent a message, like something along those lines too, of like, I'm going to be a little rude. I'm not sharing this. This is my emotional support popcorn.
This is all I have. All the money to my name is right here.
The world has seen Oppenheimer and Barbie, but like I'm just getting into it. I lived through a nuclear bomb just now.
14 days of it.
And then we ended up seeing
Oppenheimer like
multiple times.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we went that because I saw it the next day after coming back from LBS, but then we saw it together a couple of times.
Yes, because did I wait to see it till after I got back from Iowa? Because I'm pretty sure I also had a quick turnaround because it was the next day I flew out to Iowa to visit my grandparents.
It must have been when you were back.
Yeah, so I must have gotten back. You know what? It was the same day that I got back, I think.
Oh my god.
We got back and then we went and saw Oppenheimer that night. Gosh.
Yeah. I remember we went to Bridgeport twice, and the second time you were getting on a plane back to Canada, I think.
Yes, because that was right before school started.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was a hectic summer. Jeez.
How many times did you see Oppenheimer?
In theater? One.
Yeah. Oh, just once? With David when we went to OMSI?
I don't think I was there when you guys went to OMSI.
Were you there?
I wasn't. Because
maybe I was.
We went to
maybe I was.
Bridgeport
No, I think I was.
Okay.
But
that was me.
70mm film the first time, and then they had taken it out by the time we saw it the second time.
Look, as a married man, I don't have the finances to go see a movie 10 times in theaters.
Gosh, yeah.
I'll ruin us.
I was not expecting to love Oppenheimer as much as I did.
It's a great movie.
It's incredible.
I've seen it one time, but it was great.
You gotta watch it
Saw
again.
Barbie once, and it was great.
You gotta... yeah.
I've seen half of Barbie. I haven't seen
My favorite quote from Will Ferrell's in the second half of that movie.
Mystical trees. Or
Mystical trees.
Oh gosh.
Sweet summer child. Anyways.
Well, not related. The teaser for Odyssey looks sick.
Oh yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
Well, if you go see
you
Superman,
can't. You have to see it in theaters.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not online. Well, it's on like some spoilers.
Wait, is Man of Steel doing another theatrical run right now? Is the Snyderverse back?
I wish. Anyways, we should probably wrap there.
Yeah, 48 minutes. I think people want to hear us talk more.
I mean, they can. I don't know what else to say. I mean, maybe we should have asked for questions from our viewers, but...
Well...
You know what you can do? You can watch the replay on our live streams from a couple of years ago that we did in the lead up to Little Black Submarines.
Yeah.
Or
and in the aftermath.
What you can do, comment on this video what you want to know about Little Black Submarines.
Yeah.
And in 1 year from today, we will do a bigger, better video. Maybe with some other guests. And we'll answer it then.
Yeah. The 5-year anniversary.
Yeah.
I will say, too, I guess because it's not like we have news to share because it's like an old project, but like we have talked about doing Blu-rays of sort for Little Black Submarines. I don't know how available that would be. I don't know how the logistics of that necessarily, but we have a pretty good idea of like, we have a plan for 2 Blu-rays at least.
Yes.
We have something interesting we want to do with 2 Blu-rays in particular, but I mean,
We'll see. We'll gauge interest.
Well, yeah. If you comment if you want a Blu-ray of Little Black Submarines or something, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting tired just thinking about this movie, but
You thought the work was done.
I thought just when I thought it was done, it pulled me right back in.
Yeah, we'll never escape.
But yeah, thank you to everybody for watching Little Black Submarines and sharing it with your friends and spreading the word, because I know it's been kind of a weird project to share and everything. But yeah, do you guys have any last closing thoughts on this before we close?
Watch it again.
Yeah.
Maybe download it so that it lives on.
Yeah. Share it with your friends if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about it. But yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. And if you're not subscribed, please do so, because we got a cool movie coming out this fall called Happy Halloween. And want you to be notified when that drops. But yeah. Till next time, have a good week.